Knowing about the components of your computer system and how to use them, of course, is the first step in becoming a competent computer user. But, just like many other things in life, there are some maintenance things that you also have to be aware of. Now let's take a homeowner, for example. They know that in order to keep their house in good shape, they need to do some things periodically. Change the battery in the fire alarms, paint the house, maybe do some repairs or clean out the rain gutters or change the furnace filters. Likewise, there are certain things that we need to do with our computer. Because when we keep the computer happy and running well, then we're happy and running well. Now there are a couple of things that we're not going to necessarily show you on screen. Those include things like simply keeping it dusted off with a soft cloth, and on occasion maybe taking the cover off of a desktop computer using some canned air that you can buy at any computer store and simply blowing the dust off of the components. Computers don't like dust, they don't like heat, and they don't like cold. So doing some of these things can help you keep it maintained and happy as well. What we'll cover in this chapter, though, are some of the more advanced things. Fortunately, Windows provides several tools where we don't have to know hardly anything about what technically is going on, but just by clicking on a few options, we can keep our computer system maintained and happy, and therefore we'll be happy as well. So if you're ready to learn how to be a good housekeeper and a good maintenance person for your computer system, then let's go ahead and tackle this chapter. In order to work with system configuration or maintenance, you have to have administrator privileges. So I'm going to ensure that I am logged on using my administrator account. Malicious software that can accidentally load onto your computer through network or internet use is really an ongoing problem. You should have an antivirus program installed on your computer. Now you can do that if you're using a home computer, or your IT people will probably have already managed it if you're on a business network. Two of the leading vendors of antivirus programs are McAfee and Norton, but there really are many other good programs available as well. So do a little research, and really I would say the most important thing for a home computer is have an antivirus program. It really doesn't matter which one it is, anything is going to be better than nothing. Windows, however, does provide a free program that is known as anti-spyware. Now that's not the same as antivirus, it's anti-spyware, which is a little bit different. It watches for software that may get loaded onto your computer that would track and watch what you do and use that information about what you do with your computer to send to other third parties, for example, advertisers. And it does this without your permission or without your knowledge. This particular program with Windows is called Windows Defender, and I simply want to show you how to find it and how to run a scan. To do so, I'm going to move down to my Start button, and I'm going to type Defender. And then I'll select Windows Defender that comes up after the search. There really isn't a lot of configuring that you need to do with Windows Defender. First of all, when it opens, it currently tells me I have no unwanted or harmful software that's been detected. My computer is running normally. This is good. But if I didn't trust it, I could go up to the Scan menu and I could click on the drop-down. You can do a quick scan, you can do a full scan, or you can do a custom scan. Obviously, a full scan would be useful, and you might want to do those on a periodic basis. If something starts to happen a little strangely, then maybe do a quick scan and say, you know what, something's kind of weird, let me just have you check. You also can do a custom scan, and I'm just going to click on that option to show you what it is. This allows you to actually do either a quick or a full scan, but by default it wants to scan only selected drives or folders. So let's say that you're working and your computer is just fine. But all of a sudden somebody gives you a USB thumb drive and you're working off of that and the computer starts to act a little funny, a little slow, or you notice little things happening. You might choose to only scan that drive and say, well, did they give me an infected drive? That would be something that would be possible. Now, I honestly don't really recommend that because often what happens is if the software is present on a removable drive, it may actually duplicate itself over to your main hard drive. So a quick scan or a full scan is probably going to be your best option. Regardless of what you do, you'll make the choice and then you would simply click Scan Now. After you've run one or more scans, you can go back and look at your history, and you also can look at certain tools and settings. Let's go ahead and give that a click, just to show you what it's actually doing. You can work with options on how the program runs, and you can also do something called Spynet, which is an online community that you can belong to kind of read up and keep abreast of what's going on with things. This is also where you can find any quarantined items. So if Defender actually finds something that it thinks is spyware, it's going to quarantine it or set it aside, and then you can either remove or restore that software. If it's something that should be there, great, you put it back where it was. But if not, you can say, thank you for finding it, now get rid of it off of my system. You also can view software that you're saying is allowed, because some software programs may act like spyware. But if it's a program that your business uses, then instead of having it quarantined all the time, you can simply say, please disregard that. I know what that program is doing and I want to allow it. This really is a great program and it's very easy to use. Simply find it and run it on occasion, as well as setting up your options to make sure that it's working the way that you want it to. For now, I'll go ahead and just close out of this window. And we'll move on to some other maintenance type tasks.